Right then, folks, welcome back to Marseille with me, DoctorBenjyFM. It's a new chapter in the series, potentially the final chapter, or one of the final chapters of the series. As welcome then back to Marseille, where transfers have been made, of course they have, and that's what we're going to focus on today. Look, I've played a couple of games already, won both of them, so things have started really well. Two very mundane 1-0 wins to kick things off, but we're happy with that. We'll take it all day long. 6 points on the board already, and of course we leave behind a Nice side that gave me so many wonderful memories, despite sort of the abject mediocrity that you get with Nice. But yeah, here we are. Marseille. Well, the transfer window hasn't quite finished yet, and today's episode is going to be focusing purely on the transfers that we've done. And I'm going to have to start with one man only. Boss, I've got a feeling. Of course it's you. Of course it's you. That's right. Sting Shelton is back. And he's back in my good books once again. 29 now. Of course, we saw him in the Euros. Holland didn't win it. So, for nothing. It was for nothing, viewers. We brought him in there for £14 million after he was moved to Shakhtar, where he had a pretty average season. He comes to us as probably our main defender, to be honest. There's a few defenders here that I think are going to be pretty good for us. But yeah, Shelton's definitely going to be the main man. The main man, boss. Yeah. Definitely you, Shelton. Here we go then. 120 grand a week's quite a lot, but here we are. That was 120 grand a week's quite a lot. Speak properly. And the best bit is, viewers, he's not the only familiar face that's been brought in. £117 million have been collected. Of course, I showed you a little bit of the squad last time. A few of the players that I thought would be leaving. If we filter it by fees, you can see there then. Alfredo Alonso, it's quite funny. The one player that we actually knew coming here, really, from the Spanish team that we had. Alonso has been gone out. I say been gone out. He's gone out to Crystal Palace. It says there he's probably at 43 million. We got 32 for him. Really happy with that. A pretty solid performer for Marseille, but I wasn't overly impressed. I wasn't impressed so much so in the Euros that I felt like we should keep him. So yeah, off he goes, and a massive fee brought in, so we'll take that. And on one of the bigger fees, 25.5 million for Galaza sounds right to me. Yeah, decent finishing. Again, a really solid striker, but not a striker that has been doing particularly good things for Marseille. They bought him for £23 million, 11 goals in nearly 50 games. It's not really something I'm looking to try and get the best out of. Did well for Nantes, actually. It's funny because they bought, like, Nantes bought him for 400k from Valencia, so there's a good chance I sold him to Nantes for like no money at all. He had 3 terrific seasons, bought for massive money, and thankfully for me, I've made a little bit back on him, 2 million extra, so it's not too bad. But yeah, not a player that I really care for. I might have sold him twice now. He goes into that category of players, viewers. And we won't focus too much on the outs, but the final £20 million man off to Fiorentina, again valued actually higher than that. But again, Marseille bought him from Shakhtar. We love buying players from Shakhtar, especially Shelton. Me, boss. Yeah, not right now, but mate, not right now. 27 appearances for them for Marseille last season. 3 goals, 4 assists. Again, pretty average year, really. So to get 20 million for him and allow me to spend that in sort of improving the squad, definitely something I wanted to do. Again, we sold quite a few players. If I bring you back to the screen on the transfer history, you can see there then Alcaron's gone as well as Bartkowiak has gone to Burnley and a few others, and relatively happy with the business that we've done. Now, of course, on the ins, viewers, and our squad, you'll get to know them as we go, but let's run you through some names. And already, you can see there's 5 names there that, oh, viewers, it's a reunion. Now, obviously, at PSG, we would have been able to bring in some of the big guns, maybe, get some boys back. Of course, I'm looking at you, Diego, who his contract runs out at the end of the year. His contract runs out at the end of the year. You know what I'm thinking. Okay, maybe, just maybe. The big money, though, 16.5 million on Fanga here. And Fanga's an interesting player, really, Gil Fanga, because he probably wouldn't have started for me this season. I was looking at a Shelton Saliba, who's back with me, combination, but Saliba's picked up an injury. We'll talk about it in just a moment. So Fanga now probably going to play more often than not alongside Shelton. Didn't start that first game of the season. Saliba got injured in it, and now will feature far more. Yeah, I wanted to bring in 4 or 5 even really top quality centre backs, and Fanga was just a part of that. So yeah, welcome to the side, mate. 25 years of old, perfect age, just really solid player, and again picked up for a pretty good price in my opinion. Has been a really good stalwart for Mönchengladbach, so welcome. All right, let's go through a few of the other boys then. And the first addition from Lille is John Kieser, a player that I signed, of course, at Valencia from Real Sociedad. Had a couple of decent seasons for me. Lille bought him for 21.5 million. He's had a few okay seasons, but because I know him, because I know what he does, the role that he plays inside, that's sort of why I went for him. 15.25 million to come into that side as a sort of deep line playmaker. He can play in behind a striker as well if needs be, and definitely can be a creative force in this side. Some really nice mental attributes. The decision making, off the ball, vision, composure is very good as well. It's got all the key attributes. Again, passing and first touch, brilliant. Technically brilliant. Balance, brilliant. So many really great, strong attributes. And that's why we've picked him up and brought him back to this side then. And yeah, hopefully we'll see a little bit of him throughout this season. Of course we will. It's John Akiza, everybody. Welcome back. Yeah, we've got a few more. We've talked about Shelton, so we'll leave him out. But from Celtic, and I've got him again, viewers, he's back. We obviously let a striker leave. And I think for the money that we let a striker go for, and the money that we've brought him in for, £40 million for Sekou Diallo, he's back in our side. Of course, had that mesmeric season for Valencia in that loan spell he had. 26 goals, 34 appearances. And this is a level, I think, of football that he's going to be absolutely tremendous at. Really, really strong. The 16 dribbling, 17 finishing. Again, still really quick. Anticipation off the ball, all those lovely little attributes that you look for in an advanced forward. And again, a really solid player, bought for a pretty reasonable fee. So yeah, Diallo, welcome to the side. Could be key for us this season. Can play on the right, of course, can play on the left, but mainly up front. All right, let's go a little bit more defensive, shall we? As William Saliba, I mentioned, he's out at the moment, 7 to 10 weeks with a hip injury. He had 12 acceleration and 12 pace when I signed him, and both of those have gone already because of this injury to his hip. I'm really, really frustrated by this because I brought him on some big money as well. Even spent money on getting him in here, 9.5 million. Of course, we had him at Arsenal. He was unbelievably good at Arsenal, and I thought having sort of a French international to come and play for us sort of late doors, that was going to be a really key aspect of our side. Really good experience to have at the back, and this injury now has completely knocked him. Strength's gone through the floor, as have some of these other physical attributes. So, regrettably, frustrating 2-year contract, but still, we'll see him in the future, I'm sure. He's definitely going to make a good now sort of third, fourth choice defender. So, yeah, Saliba, welcome. This next one I'm so happy about, and just because I never thought I'd get to manage him again, but Christian Inzaghi. And the reason this man is so special to me, viewers, not just because his mental attributes are very good and physically still very strong, and will definitely do a job for us here in Liga. And again, marking, tackling, very good technique, passing, crossing, all brilliant for a fullback, still 3.5 stars according to our coaches. But this is the reason why, viewers. He was a year one regen, spent the entire time at Inter Milan, didn't feature for them at all last year, really. 4 appearances in the league and did pretty well in those appearances, and now joins me again. So hopefully Inzaghi will be a player that will maybe be here for the entire Glory Hunter journey. Started with me and will finish with me again. That first batch of regens at Inter Milan, and we knew he was going to turn into a superstar. We always had a feeling, and now all these years later, 134 caps and 8 goals. Inzaghi's back with us. I can't remember what I said at the very start when I had him in this side, but I'm sure it was something along the lines of, I'll see you in the future, mate. And well, who knew? All these years later, we would do again. And Inzaghi now plays for Marseille under my stewardship. Welcome, mate. Welcome, mate. Like he's going to go. Cheers, mate. All right, loads of other transfers to go through, and we're going to kick things off with the loan signing, actually, from Chelsea. Just again, another sort of third, fourth choice defender. Can play left back, can play centre back. Jason Horhoyson. That's impossible. That's impossible. Horhoyson, maybe something like that. Regardless, really good potential. English. We'll call him Jason, I think, for the purposes of this. Again, can play 2 roles really, really well. Like him a lot. Now, you know me, I sign strikers willy-nilly, viewers, but I just saw this man had loads of 17s, especially in those physical areas, and I thought, why not take a punt on a 19-year-old from Serbia, and who knows where he could end up. 17 finishing, really great acceleration, agility, balance, and pace. So I thought would give it a go. Why not? I don't know what to expect from this guy, but Zivkovic, Slobodan Zivkovic, great first name there as well. 4.8 million, quite a big expense, but I do think, again, just because of those attributes, that we've done okay here. I think he's going to turn into a superstar. I'm hoping he turns into a superstar. Needs to improve his first touch, maybe a few other mentals, and then he's going to be fine. Ramalho, Sandro Ramalho. Sure. See, the red arrows make him look worse. But actually, in terms, again, of sort of that third, fourth choice, I think I've now got 3 third, fourth choice defenders because of the Saliba injury, of course. But this guy was brought in to sort of be a little bit of right-back cover, a little bit of defensive midfield cover even as well, actually. But mainly a centre-back, 6'2", Portuguese. Hasn't been capped yet, but 3.8 million. Scored 7 goals last year for them, 4 assists as well. But yeah, as mentioned, will definitely be sort of a backup option, utility man in lots of areas. So Sandro Ramalho, welcome. Ramalho, that's really easy to say. Why was I struggling? Now, next up, I think our squad's pretty good, and we're going to talk through our squad in just a moment, so I thought I'd go through a few more additions. Galili is going to be coming in as sort of, again, another backup midfielder. In terms of midfield and attack, we're pretty strong. There isn't that much to do, actually. You'll see that in just a moment. The centre-back area was a real concern, and goalkeeper-wise, still a conversation to be had. A little bit of time left in the window. May well act upon that. But I've had Galili. He comes in. Really nice player to have it here. You can see positioning, tackling, teamwork. You can see why I've bought him, can't you, viewers? You really can. Physically fantastic too. 5'10", 19 years of age from Hapoel Beersheva. It's going to be fantastic. I'm convinced now this guy, probably next season or the season after that, will be a starter for us long term, especially if we lose the key man that plays there, which is Dumas, who we talked about last episode. All right, it's worth noting a lot of the other ins here you can see, especially the ones for like cheapish money. The only one that I'm really proud of, because it's my transfer, some of these transfers are actually by my second team coach and my under 21 coach, but it's Mazzoni here. You can see, I'll click his name in fact. Italian, 26 years of age, just a decent squad player. Again, we'll see him fleetingly, but yeah, he's one player I brought in, free transfer from Parma. I think he'll be all right for us. Welcome Mazzoni as well. So I mentioned team-wise, we've got an interesting lineup, and you might think immediately, well, Ben, you've not signed a left winger. Why would you not sign someone to play naturally on that side? And if I run you through the side, then let's talk about it. Mimi is going to be our main goalkeeper this season, and that's the one area which I'm not sure if that's a smart choice or not. I've been looking at the goalkeepers throughout the entire window, and I just can't find someone who I think, because basically, if I'm going to sign a goalkeeper, I want them to be here for the next 3 years. And so far, I haven't found that goalkeeper, or at least that goalkeeper just isn't available. So I'm not going to just go for someone who is very similar or maybe just slightly better. I want someone who is a considerable upgrade. Yeah, I know people play a little bit of attention to star ratings. I want someone of that sort of 4-star goalkeeper rating caliber, and I just haven't found that yet. I found some 3 stars, but again, it's not enough of an upgrade on Mimi to have to ship him out and get him in. So we're not quite there. Borsting from Nice is a goalkeeper actually that I considered a few times, but so far I've not found anyone. So Mimi, probably going to be our guy. At right back, Ike Goni, 19 years of age, Spaniard. Again, a couple of seasons with him. And of course, we've got 3 years left. This is probably going to be our right back for the considerable future, for the entire future of this save. This is a big year for him, though. He's got to develop nicely, get to that sort of 20 years of age, and then be a consistent starter for us without any problems. That's the big key here, of course. No mistakes. But I think we've got ourselves a really solid right back. Welcome, Goni. Say welcome, Goni. He's already here. Welcome again. Of course, Fanger and Shelton we've been through, and Zagi, of course, we know as well. Dumas I talked about a little bit before, had no intention of selling him. What a player he is. 22 years of age, unbelievable in that role. Mentally fantastic already, physically brilliant, again, technically brilliant too. So yeah, really looking forward to getting my hands on JLD. And in central midfield, it's a similar story. Samir Hafidi is in there as well, really capable central midfielder. A few technicals are a little bit lacking, but again, physically and mentally, really, really strong. The Dutchman, of course, him and Shelton will have a beautiful friendship. I really like him, boss. Sure you do, Shelton. Sure you do. Don't make it weird, though, Shelton. Sorry, boss. Lejeune, Nolan Lejeune will be next to him, 20 years of age. There's some really beautiful potential in this side. This might be the jewel in the Marseille crown right now. And before I get to the forwards, who are very, very good as well. But Lejeune is very, very talented. Really good player. Bought from Monaco a few years ago for big, big money. Had a really good year last year, and hopefully will continue that for me this year. Fantastic passing again, technically, mentally, and physically. This guy's got it all, and already a real star at 20. So yeah, lots to come from him, and I can't wait. Going slightly further forward, and there's a few areas here that we need to probably improve going into the future. When 32 years of age, Santos is going to keep that role just for now. Current ability, as I mentioned, these 4-star players, so well rounded here. Not too many yellows in this attribute card, but you can just see agility's fantastic. Physically, still just got the legs to keep on going. Again, technically, crossing and dribbling still very good, and mentally very, very good as well. Of course, having a bit of experience in these sides, not something I'm too familiar with, but you can see such a consistent performer for Marseille. Last year, 9 goals, 9 assists. How can I not play him? Hasn't started the season brilliantly, but hopefully we'll find his form at some point and be a real star for us in this lineup. On the other side, this is why we haven't signed someone to play left wing. I think Jaro Rutz at 23 can play this role absolutely perfectly. Crossing's fantastic, dribbling, first touch. He's got fantastic physical attributes as well as some really key technical ones as well. Sorry, mental ones as well. Work rate's the only concern, but again, probably going to be more of a finishing winger going forward, looking to score goals and looking to provide as well. But yeah, definitely an explosive player on the left-hand side. Hugs the line really nicely, knocks balls past opponents, runs with the ball down the left. All the things that we look for in a left winger, more so than maybe than a striker. So yeah, Rutz is going to be fantastic. And finally, but just to round things off a little bit, Bayonaz up front is going to be our leading man so far this season. Again, another Swiss international, and yeah, with that finishing composure off the ball and those physical attributes, I think we've found our guy. Whether he's going to perform to the levels that we need, we're not quite sure. He started off at Marseille brilliantly, had 20 goals in 35. The season after that fell off a little bit. Season after that fell off even more. So this is a big year for him to get back in the good books, because of course we've got Diallo waiting in the wings to come in if needs be and can slot up front, no problem at all. So that then is going to conclude most of it. Actually, I just noticed here we've got Ludwig. Now is it Look. He could play left side as sort of an inside forward position, but I don't necessarily think he's quite ready yet. 20 years of age, of course, we've got another 20-year-old who's unbelievably good, and he's not quite there yet. So we'll probably see him develop a little bit over the next couple of seasons, but yeah, close, but not quite. If he was 17, if he was 18, 19, I'd be really happy, but 20... I worry he won't quite get there quick enough for me to get the best out of him. So that was a lot of information. Look, loads of transfers, running through my team as well. Of course, you've seen there we're playing this sort of 4-3-3 system to begin things. We don't have like a really brilliant attacking midfielder other than maybe a Akiza who can play there, but I prefer to play him in this role. You can see I've sort of pigeonholed it and picked it for this particular role. And yeah, this is the system I'm going to go with. Not a system I've used entirely throughout this series, really. I'm trying to think if I've used it at all with anybody. Not really. Like we've had a few versions of different triangles, of course, whether you're playing a defensive player or an offensive player. We've done a few of those. Of course, we've played this one far more often. But we're just trying something. We're going to try something new for a little bit. I feel like this is the first season. We've got a bit of a free hit with it. So let's take advantage of that free hit and see if we can do and disrupt as much as possible in Ligue 1. Of course, the target this season, as it was last year with Nice, is to get into those top 3 spaces, get into the Champions League and attract the clientele required. Marseille, very fortunately for me, I feel like as manager, and we're going to come back next episode with the PSG game, with the Angers game, and see where we stand early on against the likes of PSG compared to how we did with Nice. Of course, we had a really good record with Nice against PSG. Well, keep an eye on Nice, of course, as well. Probably going towards sort of the Lille game after that, going through September, and then you can see it there at the start of December. We'll play Nice, of course you will, with maybe Dijon FCO in there as well. It should be really good fun. So, a new adventure, plenty of money in the bank, still 60 million to spend, so the next time we meet, there may be some new arrivals welcoming themselves to Marseille. But how do you rate my chances? Squad-wise, what are you thinking? In terms of the season preview, it's looking pretty good, 5-1. It's very, very tightly contested in that top 5, and it makes me think that when you see where Nice are, we probably made the right decision. But the goalkeeper position, I feel like that's what you're going to leave comments saying, and I couldn't agree more. We need to try and fix it. The big news, of course, though, the recruits that have returned back to my team, and Darky's in there, Shouten's in there. Of course, we've got the likes of Saliba, Akiza, and Diallo, and I'm sure throughout this Marseille adventure, because we've got any money to spend, there'll be a few more. Dell looked at, couldn't get. Diego looked at, couldn't get, and I'm sure there's going to be a few more yet to come. If you enjoyed this episode, though, please drop a like on it. Excited to see the boys back, and maybe we need to get that Shouten shirt sorted out, because I feel like I want to start wearing one. We love with care, then. I'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye. Lots of talking in a very short space of time, and it's really hot at 1 a.m. Bye, everybody. Doing the big shop tomorrow, so I have to get this in late night.